Is the solar industry dead? That's a great question. Over the past year, solar stocks have taken a really bad beating. If you look at tickers like SolarEdge, Enphase, and Sunrun, also known as Run, you'll see that they've all taken a really bad beating over the past year, year and a half. The question we want to ask is, are the forecasts for solar still optimistic? Website like seia.org tells us that the solar industry expects to add 32 gigawatts of new capacity in 2023. That's going to be a 52% increase from 2022, according to the U.S. Solar Market Insight Q3 2023 report released. They've had a lot of issues with supply chain challenges and also trade policy. However, they believe those challenges are going to become less frequent. They're going to become easier to navigate as we move into the end of 2023, also going into 2024. What we want to ask ourselves when looking at this question is the solar industry dead? We want to understand the difference between secular change and market cycles. And I think that's really, really important. Do you believe that a secular shift towards alternative energy and solar will play a role in that shift? So the question you want to ask yourself is that, do you believe that there is going to be a change or a shift towards alternative energy and solar is going to play a role in that change or shift? Next question you want to ask is the government on board with this shift, or is this shift being created by private industry? And that's going to be really important, because one of the things that's hidden from us in mainstream society is how many people are put in front of us as expert business people. And really what they've done is they partner with government to bring about a change in society. And what they do is that they play both sides of a situation. You have people that are presented to us as being anti-government while they're partnering with government to bring a change in society. But they're selling to the masses that they're anti-government. Because what government is doing is they're creating a change in society, and they need people to play their position to execute the change. Or is a change being created by private industry? If the shift is being driven by government, does a change in administration harm the shift? So let's say we have a specific administration, and it doesn't have to be on a national level. It could also be on the state level. And if they say, we are in favor of this move in this particular direction, if that administration changes, does that harm the shift? If we're invested in this change and then we get a different administration, does that mean the change is no longer in effect? Or is this change so large and it's so broad, it doesn't matter who's in the administration? This change is going to happen regardless. Next thing you want to do is look at market cycles. So looking at solar, what is the market for solar? And what I would look at is demand. What's the demand for it? Who are the players in the space? Financials around the space. Now, what we saw and what we figured out this year is that B2C solar was being financed. And by B2C, what I mean is business to consumer was being financed. And as the cost of capital started to go up, we saw many B2C solar companies face difficulty in revenue expansion. And what I mean by that is that as it became more expensive for their customer to do business with them, they started seeing a drop in business. If we're in a down cycle for solar, how long does this last until we're in an up cycle? The question I would ask myself is that, how long do I think the cost of capital will be so high it's prohibitive for consumers to finance new solar projects for their home? Next question I would ask is, do we believe the current companies have the operational capability to serve the market and return value back to the shareholders? Just because they're in an emerging market doesn't mean that they're the right people for the job. It just means they're in an emerging market. And what may happen is that they may kind of set the tone for the market, but be so mismanaged and have operations that are so bad, what they may do is create an opportunity for somebody else to come into the market later on after they've made all the mistakes, and they come in and use their template and use their framework to figure out how to actually do it properly, and that may be the company that really takes off. Therefore, by looking at solar, we want to ask ourselves a question based around the sector, then also ask ourselves a question based around the cycle. Now, markets move in cycles. However, if we have confidence in the actual sector change, we may decide that we want to ride out this down cycle and put ourselves in position for an up cycle. However, that will be based on my analysis It would not be based on what somebody told me on a YouTube video because I don't want to do the analysis on my own. Hope you got some value from it. David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave. Talk to you later.